Did you get the invitation? That's only if you do want to.
Hi, I am Tapio, and I made monster sounds and vision sounds for this game. Yeah, I just love this monster. I think it was pretty fun to make because there was underwater sounds as well as sound from the above. I think I wanted it to sound like a very big monster, but still very fast. And I thought the voice itself needed to be like it's screaming because water is splashing around and messing other sounds. Actually, a great example is the attack sound.
Oh,
There is a big water splash as it sounds from the water. At the same time, you can hear a short scream sound which is made from the cat sounds. And I think it works great. I think the red sound is really just looking in the water. You can hear it eating meat and hear the bones crashing from the water. I made the eating sounds by looking in the water and breaking through the sticks. The sound itself didn't need much processing or editing because it's you hear now. Well, this is water monster, so I recorded lots of water sounds. For example, water sounds made with the hurricane, which is swimming in the water. And when it's chasing the player, its movement is made by a big rock, which I just threw in the lake. It feels like it's running after you or hitting its big hands with water. I think there's lots of power in this monster.
Oh shit. Oh my god, escape artist. What did I get? Oh my god, thank you God. Yeah. Boot that. Whoa. This place is fucking gorgeous. I will be right back, sir. I'm gonna start pissing shit. Do all these things. First, I need my phone. Kumbaya.
This is the second hub level of the game, and is supposed to give some contrast to the stressful lurker encounter. We think building up contrast like this is extremely important for the horror mood. Only by seeing a bright level can you appreciate the dark one, and so on. If you do not do this, player will get used to the stuff and the effect will lessen greatly.
Oh shit, I actually do have cinder boxes. Oops. I fucking need them. This place is lit enough on its own. Fifi, are you there?
You have an ascending room. Would it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
When I first started working on the elevator, I had detailed concept art as base for my work. This is both a blessing and a curse. Concept art saves a lot of time for us artists, as we just have to copy what we see in the picture, but it also takes away some fun parts of our work, as we don't have to design anything ourselves. In this case, the concept art was very detailed and there wasn't much to change. However, I noticed that the roof part on the concept was dark and dull, so that's where I could add details of my own. I added the patterns to fill out the empty space. I wanted them to fit with the eastern feel of the elevator and took inspiration from Arabic windows. In the end, it's not a very big addition, but it adds to the overall impression of the elevator as something exotic that doesn't really fit in with the blue-grey stones of Brandenburg.
Ooh, what's this? Ooh. Pretty cool. Oh, you're pretty cool. Tidy up with this. And I have no more tinder boxes. Wait. Oh, wait. You're the devil. Tinder boxes. didn't do it. Break every damn thing. Chair. I'll break it all. Ah, here we go. I'll close the door. I don't want in here right now. Ooh. So y'all can read that on your own. Yeah, I got a person watching. Hello. I just trying to make sure that you're not gonna leave me. What the shit?
This map was one of the most fun to make because of the rooms have more objects than we usually add in a level. I think the first 2 rooms was pretty good, just because of this. But we can't add this many objects in every room in the game, because that would, first of all, be very demanding on your PC's performance, for a lot of our players doesn't have gaming rigs. Secondly, it wouldn't make sense if every room or corridor was a storage. Try very hard to vary the levels and rooms as much as we can do.
Give me a book.
This level was also the first time in the game the player had any contact with outside. So for this part I had to make a couple of different wall pieces, a pine tree and a breakable version of the window. And I can talk a little bit more about the breakable window here. When creating breakable objects like this, we have to first of all break the model by splitting parts up and creating pieces. Like on this window, it has a lot of wood parts that are loose after it breaks. Those parts are remodeled into broken versions, and in the broken version of the window, they're actually hanging in the air at the same place they were when the window was whole. After modeling those and exporting the model into a lot of formats, which our engine handles, I use our in-house model editor to set each wood part up with a body for collision, and I also had to wait for it to behave realistically. I also had material type, in this case wood, and that is so that wood sound is played when the beats hit something. You can also set up more advanced stuff like how it will behave in water, how fast it can travel, and how fast the speed will decay. But also a lot of other settings as well. But when that broken version is done, I also set up a special entity of the original window where I set it to break at a certain force, and when that happens another entity will load and this one will disappear.
I'll give you a
in this case we load the broken version of the window. We also set it up so a particle system with glass shards is going to be played as well as a break sound.
What's wrong with these
and as
people?
soon as you break that window and all that is happening, and since you probably threw something at the window, the force of that object will make the wood pieces fly, not fall straight to the ground as they would otherwise. That is pretty much how we do it with most breakable entities, but of course creating a particle system in sounds for this is needed too. And in this level you can also see a lot of props that I made earlier before we started making maps. This is objects like shelves, tables, chairs, paintings, etc. But of course I didn't make all the objects in this level.
Boop. So he has his stuff. Further disappoint in the whatever that word is. Latest finds yielded nothing. I'm still unable to grasp the inner workings of life and its relation to the power I sense within it. I shall pursue more books on the subject, but I suspect it will be in vain, since no research has been made in my particular interest. I must attempt to fill that void myself. Clearly humans emit more of the energy I seek, but I hope animals will suffice, as they will prove less of a hassle to acquire. Jesus Christ. Did you do this to them, you son of a... You freaking... You D-bag. I'm not using the pick box on that. Poor dog goes. Oh, Jesus! Did you check into my stream or no? Oh, that must have been Angel then. Feedback, tell me you wouldn't piss your pants if you were... Oh God! Tread carefully. What?
The decision to have the player go outside in this map started out as a quick and dirty idea for some sort of puzzle. However, it turned out very nicely, and to see the trees really gives a feeling of being in a castle and not just on some set. The first idea was not even to have the player break the window and just have it open directly instead. But when we added it, we felt it gave a really nice feel and reward for finishing the puzzle. In retrospect, we should have had more moments when the player ventures outside, and it gives this feel of being in part of the larger world.
Jesus Christ, I'm hallucinating like a mofo.
The decision to have the player go outside in this map started out as a quick and dirty idea for some sort
Okay, where the hell are the subtitles?
of puzzle. However, it turned out very nicely, and to see the trees really gives a feeling of being in a castle and not just on some set.
With that.
The first idea was not even to have the player break the window and just have it open directly instead. But when we added it, we felt it gave a really nice feel and reward for finishing the puzzle. In retrospect, we should have had more moments when the player ventures outside, and it gives this feel of being in part of a larger world.
You sat there. What the friggity froof frack? Ooh, 2 tinder boxes. Yeah. Feedback, tinder boxes save your ass in this game. Oh, wait a minute. I want to say this goes. Okay, hold on. The fuck? Okay, so it's a tiny gear. Those are tools. Let's see here. Zoom. Oh. Yee! My lantern's fully full now. Feedback, aren't you proud of me? My lantern's full. You bastard, I'll throw this chair. I lost the chair. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. What the shit? Why are things breaking? Goddamn doggo. No, no, no! Figgity, fig crack. Crack. Oh, that one's not breakable. Feedback, I found a piano. What should I play you? Nothing? Why, you heartless bastard?
In the original pitch, Herbert was a fairly important character, but it didn't really reflect in the games, so we tried a few different things to incorporate him, but it never really made any sense. Herbert was important to Daniel's background, but in the end he didn't have any impact on the story happening right now, that is, the conflict between Daniel and Alexander. So most of his things was cut during the last stage of production.
Oh, it's cold. It was so freaking cold. Fork.
My journal is gone. What would they want with my journal?
This is a big ass guest room.
Daniel is a pretty complicated character to write for, as we didn't want the player to feel that they were losing control by having feelings imposed on them. After the amnesia kicks in, everything which is Daniel is essentially gone. The player is the new Daniel, and he should be able to act the way he pleases, and even reject his own background as he discovers it. That is why everything concerning Daniel is flashbacks. Even the diary entries are read as what is being told is happening right now, That is, it is the old Daniel telling the story and not the player reading it.
In this room, everything is connected to destruction and home. This was Daniel's home as Alexander's guest, and the diary entries are about Daniel being home in London and things falling apart. These sort of connections are not something that we want the player to get. Rather, it should end up in the subconscious and work toward building the mood. Also worth noting is this focus, as explained in the commentary of Wine Cellar, where we want the player's attention on a certain aspect. We hope this makes the story clearer. The idea is to slowly build it up, one part at a time, giving the player time to digest and think about it.
I need a crowbar for.
3rd of July, 1839. Today I picked up Herbert's things at the customs house. I dug through the trove of documents he had carried and found a May 7th his account.
When we create props, we usually have concept pictures or reference images to look at when modeling the object, just to make sure it stays within the art style that we are going for. When creating a chair, a table, or a bookcase, just to name a few, we usually have to plan the measurements before we get them into the game, because having something in the game that isn't the right size can break the immersion. But sometimes you have to cheat that and test it out, because the camera perspective can really trick you. I have the perfect example of the camera tricking you sometimes. Take out the lantern in-game and look at the wall or an object in the same height as the lantern and try guessing how big the lantern will be next to that object. Then walk up as close as you can to that object and compare. If you got a good example out of this, you see that the hand and lantern is in fact very small, but it feels right when it's close to the camera. But we don't want to go on gut feeling on the measurements of every object. That could really get out of hand quickly, and a lot of things could feel out of place. So it's basically a matter of changing the scale if it feels weird. When modeling the prop, we try to make it as close as the reference images as we can, or if you've got a sketch, that is. It's often a quite simple process that usually doesn't take that much time, but it completely depends on what it is and if the sketch we have are detailed. Before giving the model a texture or working on that, we need to create a UV map for it. A UV map can best be described as an image with painted and edited details to it that is wrapped around the object. So the texture for a cardboard box, for example, would look like a box that you have unfolded onto the ground. After the UV map is created, we start to work on the texture. And here, we usually start with adding untouched materials like wood or metal, and these are from free photos found on the internet. We also paint in dirt in corners, highlights on the edges to enhance them. We can also bake and add ambient occlusion map to the texture, which is basically a process where the computer calculates where the texture should be dark or where it should be light. We often generate a normal map based on certain details in the texture. A normal map uses light to add bumps or dents without using more polygons on the object. For specular maps, we use the red channel for the intensity level of the map and the green channel to determine the power of it. After all the textures are done, we export them to collada format and import them to our editors. There, we set material values, create bodies for collision, and stuff like that.
I'm gonna just pause the game right there, because I just looked straight to the best face feedback. Oh god. Beth is ugly and fat. Oh, the chair is out. Ow, 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 ow. Bitch. Well, I'm done.